and you can go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Nucamp open house. Thanks for being with us this morning. My name is Karim Ludo. I'm Nucamp's CEO. And together with us this morning is also Ludo Fourage, our Chief Learning Officer and our Chief Product Officer. You'll hear more from him in a little while, but I'm going to kick this off, this hour spent together with actually 30 minutes of presentation that I'll share with Ludo. And then we will have a 30-minute Q&A session. And so I encourage you to start putting your questions on the chat box. Actually, today we're streaming live on YouTube, but also on Facebook. So you can definitely put your questions on both social medias, and Ludo and myself will go through them once we're done with the presentation itself. So with that, I would like to kick it off with just a little intro about Nucamp. Nucamp is a coding bootcamp, as you probably know if you're here today. But we're a little special. The first important thing to know is that we have a strong social mission, which is to help all aspiring career shifters across the US to enter the digital economy. And so our whole model is really built to help as many people as possible achieve their goals of transitioning into the digital economy. The way we do this is by offering the most affordable, the most local, and the most flexible coding bootcamp out there with a very unique format around evenings and weekends. So let me tell you a little bit more about our format and our model. And start by just highlighting what was out there before Nucamp came to be available. Until recently, you really had the option of learning to code on your own online, which is something that's actually very flexible because you really learn to code on your own schedule at your own pace. It's actually very cheap. Sometimes it's even free. And it's available everywhere. Obviously, you just need an internet connection. The challenge really is that it is really hard to stay committed over several months on your own to an online program to learn to code. The second challenge that we see is that when you're stuck, when you don't understand something, you have no support. And coding is difficult, especially if you don't have any sort of a coding background at all, or even math background. So we're seeing the completion rates for online coding boot camps be very low. And so a lot of people turn to other options where there's more structure, more support. And what was available out there were traditional boot camps, which are great if you can commit the time and money to this. They're usually full-time, sometimes part-time, but usually full-time programs that require you to stop working and therefore stop earning an income. They are actually very expensive. On average, the industry average is actually $12,000. And they're actually available only in a few cities, in big cities usually. And the challenge there is that while it's a great program in terms of structure and support, you have instructors that are here to help you throughout the program. It's just really tough for a lot of people to get into those programs because again, they're tough admission criteria, and just to afford them or even move to be in a place where they're offered. So enters Nucamp with a very different model that really combines the best of both worlds. Our program is a hybrid format that is online during the week and in person or live online with an instructor in video conference during the weekend. And this allows you to continue to work and earn an income, but it still provides you the structure and the support mechanism to keep you motivated. It also has a very, it's a defined schedule. So you actually graduate in a certain number of weeks. Very similar to other boot camps. So you stay motivated, you stay engaged, and you also are in a small group, actually smaller groups than traditional boot camps. Our maximum class size is 12 students. So you have more opportunity for instructor support there, in particular during the workshops. Most importantly, with this model, we're able to bring the cost down to less than $2,000, which is unheard of in the industry. A lot of people wonder how we're able to do that, and I'm happy to take questions around that later. But it is really by rethinking the model from the ground up and focusing on delivering a bootcamp that's affordable for everyone that we've been able to meet that price point. So what's been Nucamp's journey so far? What can you expect? Where are we present today? We started in 2017 in Washington State, and we grew from there in the state first and throughout the US last year and this year, to the point where today we've registered over 2,000 students. We have launched over 250 boot camps across the US. And we have over 200 instructors that are part of Nucamp and working with us. We have an outstanding student satisfaction, which I can I'll tell you a little bit more about in a little while with some student testimonials. And so today we're able to offer our boot camps in many cities across the US, and for the few places where we're not present, we have an online, but an in-person online, if you like, version of our bootcamp, which I'll talk a little bit about as well, because obviously with COVID-19, we have had to adjust a little bit our in-person component. All right, so I'm going to switch here to talk a little bit actually about COVID-19. We had delivered boot camps online actually for some time even before COVID-19 started. So for us, it was fairly natural to transition to offer 100% of our boot camps through video conference, which we've started doing as early as March. And it hasn't really altered the experience. So in our online format, the whole bootcamp follows really the same structure, where you're studying on your own online during the week, and then you have an in-person with an instructor experience on the weekend. The only difference is that on the weekend, the experience is through a video conference, but the format is the same. You're still paired with only 12 other students in this live online session. And then all the other attributes are the same. And also the opportunities and the flexibility that we offer is the same. So you can pause your class at any time free of charge. You can retake actually a class at any point in time free of charge. We actually have students that come back after a few months and that want to redo part of the boot camp as a refresher. And that's, again, something we do free of charge for them. And then more importantly, you're going to be able to switch back to in-person when this happens at no cost. And so we don't know when in each state that will be possible, but we're monitoring this closely. And when this happens, students will decide whether they want to go back to in-person, or if they're not comfortable doing so, if they want to continue their coding bootcamp online. So talking a little bit about the boot camps themselves, I'm going to just introduce at a high level what are the boot camps we have, and then Ludo will dive into the curriculum. We have basically two types of boot camps: an introductory boot camp, which we call Web Development Fundamentals, which is a 4-week boot camp. It's very short, very affordable. The tuition is $349. And this is really for people who have no coding background at all to start to learn to code and be able to build a very basic website, but more importantly, get to understand whether coding is something they like or not, and give them some of the fundamentals that are going to be required for the advanced boot camps. So this is a boot camp that's not enough to get you a new job in the software industry, but definitely enough for you to better understand what coding is about, get some basics, be more proficient if you're going to be interacting with IT professionals, and then decide at a very low cost if this is something you want to pursue. And then we have our advanced boot camps, and our advanced boot camps are 17 to 22 weeks. We'll get a little bit into the details of the difference between the two. But those are boot camps that will give you all the skills necessary for you to get a job in the industry. To get an entry-level job, obviously after 4 to 5 months, you're not an expert or a senior expert yet, but they definitely get you job ready. And they do that through a combination of just the skills and the portfolio you're going to be developing. And Ludo is going to talk a little bit more about that. So the format, again, to get into a bit more details, Sunday to Friday is on your own schedule online. And what this means is you will go through video lectures, through coding exercises, some quizzes, challenges that keep you engaged and motivated, and make sure that you acquire all the skills that are needed throughout the week. You will also be working on your project portfolio in the advanced bootcamp, and that's an important component of the curriculum. You should expect to spend between 1 to 3 hours per day. So, definitely a demanding program, but, a lot of depth and knowledge really to acquire. But you're not going to be on your own. You will have the support of your dedicated instructor, 1 for 12 students maximum, throughout the week, to give you either support online, through chat, or through office hours. But generally speaking, the rule is you get support if you're stuck within 24 hours. And then on the Saturday is really when it all comes together with a 4-hour workshop that's live. So either in person or right now through a video conference with your classmates, and led by the instructor. And what happens during the workshop is first a recap of the learnings of the week, and an opportunity for students to ask all the questions, make sure they've understood the concepts, and then working through the workshop assignment, which basically is a lengthier assignment and some of the quizzes of the week that builds on the skills that you've acquired during the week. This is a graded assignment and actually is part of you getting your certificate. So the criteria there is that you basically complete all your assignments, grade them, and get a grade above 6 out of 10 to get your certificate. And then once you're done with that workshop, you've submitted your assignment, then you move on to the next week. And that mechanism ensures that you stay on schedule and continue to progress through the bootcamp. All right, so I'm going to talk just briefly about our workshop locations. This is not, obviously we're not in workshop location right now, but it's something we hope to be able to go back to soon, at least in some states. If you're starting your boot camp in June, for example, it's pretty likely you will end up having a component of it in person. So our workshop locations are co-working spaces, and we select them with several criteria. First of all, we want them to be nice places, because you're going to be spending 4 hours every Saturday there. They really need to be places where you're going to be learning in a supportive environment, a warm environment. They're also co-working spaces because it's typical of software developers to network around co-working spaces, and we usually pick the ones that have more focus on software in their membership, that either already host meetups or have other companies that have offices in their co-working space. And the reason there is to allow you to start to network with the local community, and try to start to prepare for your career change. So both nice places and a good networking opportunity. All right, and then last but not least, the most important part of our model is our instructors. We have awesome instructors. They're a very diverse community, but they've got a few things that bring them together. The first thing is they're all active industry practitioners. This means that they're working either full-time or part-time in software development. So they're not just teachers, and the skills they'll give you and the coding tips that they will give you are very relevant to the job market. And that's important because you're trying to get job ready. You're not trying to get a job as a teacher in a university. The second thing is that they're all really passionate and excited to give back to their community and bring more people into coding. That's part of our interview process. And basically they're doing this and they're compensating for it, but our compensation levels are not super high, almost on purpose, because we want people to consider us as they would consider other volunteer opportunities. And so those are the type of people that come to us. And that's why you will find that above and beyond just teaching the classes, they're often a networking opportunity, and they'll give you tips on or just insight on what their career are like, how to network, how to get into the industry. The other aspect is they're local. So, obviously with the online situation today, it's a little different, although we still try to pair instructors that come from the city you're in. But as you move to in-person, that instructor is going to be plugged in, not just the industry in general, but the industry in your city, which is important. And then finally, they have a very diverse professional background. Some of them actually are full-time employees in large software companies, Microsoft, Google, or others. But some are coming from the startup world, and they've had all their career in startups. So it's a very different experience they can share with you. Some are independent consultants. They build websites for their clients. So this will help you also think through what you want to do later, what are the kind of jobs and career paths that are most attractive to you. All right, so with this, I'm going to turn it over to Ludo to tell you a little bit more about what it is to be a web developer.
Thanks, Karim, and hi, everyone. So obviously, you're going to join Nucamp because you have a dream that you also want to become a web developer. And so let me touch on that briefly. The first thing you need to realize is we're going to teach you what is now and for the past 6 years the #1 web development language, and that is JavaScript. I saw a question on the chat asking how many weeks of vanilla JavaScript we teach. And that's about 5 weeks total of vanilla JavaScript out of 22. And then we're going to focus on frameworks that use JavaScript. Just so you know, and you can actually check that data on Indeed.com, ZipRecruiter, the average salary for a junior web developer in the US is $70,000. Of course, it's average. It could depend on where you live exactly, the cost of living there. But if you think about working from home, developing from home, being a freelance, that's typically what you will get. One thing I want to point out as well is we make a point that you will be aspiring to become a junior web developer, meaning after 5 months and 22 weeks, we will really have given you the skills to code, but you will not have acquired yet the experience. And that experience you're going to get after the bootcamp by coding every day. And that experience also will unlock your career down the line. What I mean by that is we don't pretend or we won't promise you that you'll get a job at Amazon or Google or Facebook right off the bat. It's actually quite unrealistic to think of that. What will help you to do and achieve is find a job as a web developer, as a junior web developer in your community. And that could be in a big local company that has nothing to do with web development, but has a big IT shop that needs web developers and is trying to compete with the Googles and Facebooks to actually hire them. It could be in the local startup ecosystem. And you've heard Karim talk about how the co-working location and our instructors will help you navigate and network with those startups. And then it could be as a freelance. Actually, we see a lot of our graduates wanting actually to start as a freelance and test the waters that way. So again, you'll be ready to become a junior web developer using JavaScript. You'll have the tools to get to that level of salary range. And then down the line, after you gain experience, you'll be able to aspire to join, hopefully, the Microsoft and Googles and Facebooks. Now, let me tell you now a little bit more about our curriculum. And as Karim pointed out, the very first aspect of our curriculum is an introduction. We want Nucamp to be available and an option for complete beginners. And so the very first 4 weeks, called the web developmentals, are really there to teach you those fundamentals and those basics of web development. It's really 3 pillars: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And in 4 weeks, you'll know enough to be able to continue. I think you've heard Karim say also before, it will not be enough to get a job. 4 weeks is really a short amount of time to be considered as a developer, even a junior developer in the industry. But after that, you'll have a choice between becoming a front-end developer and full-stack developer. And as you can see, they are actually following the same path, with one difference at the end: to become a full-stack developer, which will be to add the back-end component. And by the way, you can decide to start with front-end and then at the end upgrade to full-stack and continue on and complete the whole curriculum. Now, let me start with the very first module of our more advanced bootcamps, which is called Bootstrap. Bootstrap is one of the simplest and most engrossing way, I would say, to start your journey. It's a framework that's using JavaScript and CSS that will allow you to create what we call responsive websites. Now, what does that mean, a responsive website? Well, if you think about a website shown on, let's say, a big projector screen, like 160 inches, and now you think about that same website and how it would look on a mobile phone. Well, imagine that you have the tools to write the website just once. You can design the website just once, and using Bootstrap, it will actually rearrange itself depending on the screen size. So it will look great in a kind of a horizontal view on the big projector or TV screen or laptop. And then it will look great as well in a more vertical view on the phone. And it will pretty much arrange itself to adapt itself to the size. It's a great way to start because it's actually easy to see the result of what you just learned almost instantaneously. And it really creates a great feeling for the new students. The problem with Bootstrap, though, it's only all about visuals. It's all about how I'm going to display the information. It doesn't deal with complex data, I will say. So now if you're thinking about, okay, great, I can show my website in multiple sizes, but I want to show my products. I want to show the catalog of products. I want people to be able to log in. I want people to be able to buy my products. All of that requires what we call, business processes. You need to be able to get the data from your product database. You need to be able to authenticate your users. All of that Bootstrap doesn't know how to do. So come in React. React is a language that actually has been built by Facebook. I think it's about like 4 years ago now. And that's the answer to that problem of, I need to be able to do something with my website that is dynamic, that people can search for my products, they can show the products, they can buy the product, they can rate the product, or maybe another route. Like I want people to be able to, I want to develop a chat service, right? I want to rebuild Twitter, or I want to rebuild Snapchat. All of that really will be taken care of by React. Now, React is the most challenging part of our bootcamp. That's where students tell us where really the core of what it means to be a web developer comes shining. It's challenging enough that you'll spend hours trying to figure out a bug, and it's challenging enough that you'll actually find the enjoyment of fixing that bug afterwards. Now let's move on to the last module. And the last module is where I will say the magic happens. As a front-end developer, you will want to build websites, obviously, but you may also know and are familiar with the need to build mobile apps for Android phones like my Samsung here, or iPhones. And React Native will actually allow you to take all the work and all the learnings that you got with Bootstrap and React, take that website and repackage it as a mobile app that you'll then be able to push to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store for people to download, for people to buy, and things like that. It's quite amazing what the technology is able to do here, because suddenly your website that looked good on a Mac or PC becomes a mobile app with not much additional work, but also suddenly has access to all the hardware capabilities of your device. So the location, the phone, the camera, all of that becomes available in your code to really become a true, almost native, the name native, mobile app. Once you've done all those 3 modules, you will be a junior front-end developer. You will have learned everything you need to learn to build user experiences, right? Front-end experiences. Now, if you enrolled in full stack, or if you decide to continue, you'll learn about the data side, the server side, which is obviously critical. I mean, nothing could actually work without a backend, what we call a backend. And so that's an extra 4 weeks that will teach you everything you need to know about storing data, authenticating user, retrieving data, updating data, how you run a website, how you run it on the cloud, and things like that. And that will be the end of the full stack curriculum. Now, throughout the curriculum, you're going to work on your own project as well, which is critical. Learning really happens, deep learning happens when you face unknown challenges that were not really laid out in front of you necessarily based on what you want to build. So you will have a learning project that will actually follow you every week and be improved every week throughout the duration of the bootcamp. That learning project is the same for every student, so you'll be able to actually help one another on it. But then on top of that, you'll actually transpose those learnings into your own projects. And so you'll build your own responsive website with Bootstrap. And then you'll update it and improve it every week. So think about it as one project a week almost, but adding up to a bigger project. And then you'll take that, your own project, and you'll build it again with React. And then you'll take it as well and you make it a mobile app with React Native. You will be able to decide if you want to learn on your own or create your project on your own, or we encourage you actually, and we help you group yourself with other students to start to actually collaborate on one project together, which is obviously a skill you want to acquire as well to be efficient in the industry. Now let's talk about the bootcamp schedule. It's on our website. I saw a few questions of people on Facebook and YouTube asking where we are located. Do we have offices there? You'll find all of that in our website. If you browse our community, find your own community, your own city. Chances are we are in your city. You will be able to see if we are in your city in person with an actual workshop location. If you are in your city online, and then, as we said earlier, unfortunately, even where we have in-person locations, co-working space, we actually we actually are online in every community because of the COVID-19 situation. But anyway, you'll have the schedule there. It's the same schedule in every community. What you should know is if you're planning to join the front-end and full stack bootcamp, you have until June 1st to have access to a 15% discount. That's called the early bird. So pretty much what it means is if you register 2 weeks before the beginning of the bootcamp, you'll get the price point that you're seeing advertised right now. It will go up by 15% after that. So make sure that you check that out and that you register if you have intention to register before that date. The early bird rate for the web development fundamentals is one week later. So that will be June 8th, right? So, and if you miss the early bird, you can still register. You'll just have to pay the 15% additional, or you will be able to register for the July 20th cohort, which happens just 5 weeks after the one coming in June. And you'll have access then, you'll have access to the early bird rate. All right, so Karim and I talked a lot. What we really enjoy doing is sharing with you what our students say about Nucamp. You can read about the reviews on the course report. We have like more than 350 reviews at this time. All real reviews, no review is being paid by us or anything. But in the meantime, we're going to share with you this video. It's a 1 minute and 30 seconds long video. And right after that, we'll talk briefly about job placement and success stories. And then we'll switch into the Q&A portion of our open house, where Karim and I will answer all of the questions you've asked on YouTube and Facebook live. All right, let's get going. Give me a sec. There we go.
I wanted to look at a career opportunity that would be lucrative. And Nucamp kind of popped up, and I liked it a lot more than the other ones. I liked that it was more flexible. I didn't have to like quit my current job.
They're basically very student friendly.
And our instructor is awesome, Minay, and she's just really helpful, like really like above and beyond.
She's very helpful, and every time when I have a question, I can ask her and she can respond. The careers basically has no end. You can grow and grow.
I was really excited. Yeah, in fact, I mean, if anything, I was like wanting to do more.
But I really like the way it's been this hybrid learning process.
I love that. I love that it's during the week, because I wouldn't have been able to do it if I had to meet every single day. So I love that I can find childcare on Saturdays, and the rest of the week it's online. But yeah, sometimes I'm like doing my homework and I get all excited. I'm like, this could be my life. So it's kind of cool.
All right, and with that, I encourage you to see more stories from students and instructors on our LinkedIn group. This is where you'll see our alumni's profile. You'll be able to check out what they're doing now. I just picked six of them here in no particular order, and I won't actually go through all six, but Aaron Goodrum, for example, started with us in Tacoma, Washington, was a truck driver, and later joined a education company actually as a QA software engineer. Lindsay Gillespie graduated from Full Stack and then moved to Dallas to join a software company as well. Nasir Bush was actually kind of doing coding in his current job, but wanted to get to the next level and joined the bootcamp in Spokane, Washington. And then got to that next level using Bootstrap and React. And the great story is a year later, came back to Nucamp wanting to give back and become an instructor as well. And has been ever since one of the top rated instructor. What we find is someone who's actually been in the shoes of a student, has gone through the struggle of learning to code, is actually a great person and a great instructor to share back and help new students going through the same experience. So again, check that out on our LinkedIn page, our alumni page, and you'll have more information about that there. All right, Karim, I think it's time for us to answer many questions on YouTube and Facebook. It's the first time we'll have two sources of questions, so we'll see how that goes. Do you wanna get started?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a first question is someone asking to see some videos of the material, but also the workshop experience to get a better feel for what the bootcamp experience is like. So we're actually working on this, and so we're expecting to get this ready and available on our YouTube channel, I guess within a week or two. So I encourage you to actually subscribe. This is my sales pitch here for our YouTube channel, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do post videos there. You'll see this video when it comes out, but also I think what would be interesting for many of you is to check out our projects, the projects of our students rather. This will answer another question. around what kind of certificate do you get at the end of the bootcamp? Well, you have two types of certificates. You can either get a regular certificate, which means you've passed all your assignments with a 6 out of 10 grade, but you can go above and beyond and get a certificate with honor. And the requirement there is to build a fully functional website, actually produce a video that showcases your website, explains what it does, demonstrates it, but also some of the challenges you've gone through. And then we pick the best ones and we post them on our YouTube channel. So that's another great way to see what sort of skill level you can get to, what kind of things you can expect to be producing by the end of the boot camp. So that's two questions in one here.
Great. I'll answer quickly questions on Facebook. People asking if we are in person in Las Vegas, Sacramento. I'm seeing San Francisco as well. The answer is yes, but. So actually in all those locations, we have in-person operations. However, during the COVID-19 situation, we actually had to move them to live online. However, in those locations, and you can check that on our website, whenever we're ready to get back in person, we will get back in person for those.
Yeah, so a pointer on the COVID-19, you'll see this next to the actual boot camp in the schedule. If you see that little label, COVID-19, that means that we've decided for sure that this class will start online. If further out in the schedule, if there's no clear label yet, whether it is in person or COVID-19 or remote, it means we're still monitoring what's going on with the local authorities.
Yeah, great. So I'll take another question actually from Wilt Watkins on Facebook. What if I cannot consistently make Saturday workshops? Can I still sign up for a workshop? So the workshop is one of the core value that we provide to you. It's when you're going to meet during 4 hours with your instructor. You're going to get the support that you need. You're going to meet with other students. You're going to work on a challenging assignment. So missing a workshop is a big deal, and you would want to really not miss many at all. However, on the 22 weeks period, we can imagine that you may actually have to miss 1 or 2 workshops, and that will be okay. What we will ask is you will still need to work on the assignment and publish the assignment. So every weekly assignment needs to be published and graded, whether or not you're attending the Saturday workshop. That's a requirement to complete the bootcamp. And I would say we offer also options. So if you're seeing your schedule being changed, or something like in your life happens and you can't really join the next 3-4 workshops, we offer you to actually switch and postpone your bootcamp and resume it, let's say 5 weeks later at no cost. So you can actually deal with what's happening right now in your life and then get back committed again and being able to attend the Saturday workshops. I saw a question about, hey, can I watch the workshop in a recorded fashion? The answer is no, for 2 reasons. One is privacy problems, like you will need to get the consent of all the students and the instructor to actually be recorded like that. And the other, from a pedagogical reason, it's just not efficient. Like I've never seen a student really staying put for 4 hours watching a video of people working on coding. So it doesn't really work so well. You really want to experience a workshop in person or online, but you really want to experience them live. To you,
all right, so moving on, we got a question from Sensi. Do you have independently audited data that show graduation rates, employment, income? We're starting to gather that data actually relatively recently, but we don't have that in audited form, and we don't publish this at this point. But let me give you a few sort of reference points. First, we're very different from other boot camps in the sense that people that graduate from our boot camp usually are already working. So we don't have people that graduate and then look for a job within the next week or 2 weeks. A lot of our students actually continue to develop their skills over several months and then transition into a new job, and that's typically the stories that Ludo referenced. We also have a lot of people that, because it's very affordable and, flexible, decide to do these coding boot camps, not necessarily to change jobs, but to improve their current career. or to, do this on the side. So for all those reasons, our sort of graduation rates, our placement rates are not the same. I think it's more important to decide what your objective is, what you're trying to achieve out of this boot camp. If you're planning to transition into a new job, the minute you're out of the boot camp, that you definitely need to sort of work twice as hard. Make sure you develop your portfolio projects extensively so that they're ready for interviewing when you come out. So it's a little bit of a different experience than if you're deciding to start this journey, learn to code, and then maybe spend 6 months to start to do independent consulting to acquire more skills, and then ease into a different role. So we have a lot of different career paths and different examples out there.
Hey, Karim, would you mind actually answering also a question on Facebook that's related to this?
Sure.
Is there job placement assistance?
Yeah, so absolutely. So our core focus obviously is really on building skills, and I'll tell you why it's so important. But I'll answer specifically. We have first off a 6-week career development course that is actually in the tuition. It's part of the price that you can start to go through as you get to React Native, so the later part of the bootcamp, and that will basically help you with resume writing, LinkedIn building, also give you some basics on sort of networking, on how to start to look for jobs. And then, so that's one aspect. The other aspect is we have our student success manager, who's also our sort of alumni and career counselor, if you like, that will encourage you to start networking with your instructor, use our dedicated Slack channels around job offers, because we do have external companies that are, coming in and saying, hey, would like to see some of you students. So there's just a gradual networking that builds up, including with your instructors in your local community. And then we have, this the LinkedIn piece is just an added bonus to get you started with that, but it's not the key part of it. But I will, I want to point out that at the end of the day, what is going to count the most is the skills you acquire. When you interview for a junior developer position as a software developer, as a web developer, it's not like a sales position. It's not about, your soft skills and how well you can speak. Some of it is important. Obviously, you need to have some basic, people skills, because you are going to work in teams. But at the end of the day, it's about the skills you demonstrate. So your ability to pass some of the tests, because oftentimes there are tests part of those interview processes. The quality of the portfolio, and the portfolio is basically the website that you have developed. Your ability to explain the complexity, how you've dealt with the challenges, that is, 90% of what is going to get you a job. And we focus on that part.
Great. Hey, I'll take 2 questions here that are related to the level of experience. Before that, I want to say hi to Simon Hunt, who's one of our instructors, and I saw his comment on YouTube. Yeah. So hi, Simon, thanks for joining. And I think we have current students as well joining. Thank you very much for doing that. So Tirari on Facebook and Keith on Facebook wonder how much experience really is needed to get started, and what if you don't have any experience at all? So you can certainly start from the very beginning, and that's what our 4 weeks web development fundamental bootcamp is about. And it's also a great way to check if you actually like it. We actually often say that you don't want to take the risk and invest, let's say, $10,000s on the belief that you actually will want to become a web developer and everything that entails. You can come to Nucamp, pay $349 for 4 weeks, and after that, you'll be ready to move on to the next more advanced bootcamps if you want to, but you'll know if that's actually something you want to do. And by the way, you will also have tested our formula. Not everyone actually wants to be learning online in a hybrid fashion. Some people actually have a full-time capacity to learn every day, and so may actually want to consider another option. So a great way to get started is to start with the 4 weeks bootcamp and really figure out if you want to continue to invest the time and the money to do that.
All right, so I've got a question about the experiences of our instructors, and we have multiple instructors during our bootcamp session. So again, just re-emphasizing that our instructors come from very different backgrounds. Again, could be a big tech company, could be an independent consultant, could be a startup, and you will get exposed to several instructors usually. I mean, sometimes an instructor will be teaching, several classes, but out of the 3, 4, 5 classes that you are going to take, you will probably go through several instructors and get exposed to, different backgrounds, different styles. I'd like to just come back on the question around missing 2 Saturdays. Can we make up the workshops? And the answer is no. So that's an important thing, right? You've got to think about those in blocks of 5 weeks. So if you can't make a workshop, you either work on the assignment on your own and submit the assignment, and that's doable if you're keeping up with work during the week. Or you think you're going to miss more than one, you're probably better off retaking the entire class. And the reason we want to do that is because we want everybody on the same schedule. That is part of the value as well, is you're part of a small group class, but you're part of a much wider community. And on our collaboration platform, you're going to be engaging with other students, questions and answers happen all the time. And that's part of the experience as well. So you all need to be on the same page, and everybody goes through our workshops at the same time.
Great. And I want to just say thank you, Yardley, Steven, for sharing your testimonial as a current student of Nucamp, and good luck with full stack, obviously.
All right.
So I saw another question. Maybe I'll take that one while you look for another one, Karim. Alison McDougall is asking about how do we help students with learning disabilities to receive reasonable accommodation? So I will try to answer it in 2 ways. The first one is the online experience, depending on the disability of the person. I mean, you'll have to figure out what works, what doesn't work. We offer, so there's subtitles in our videos. So that's one thing. We don't have necessarily support for someone to handle the equipment to learn online. So that will have to be factored in. For the Saturday workshop, when we are in person, the most co-working spaces, especially big brand name, have disabilities design in mind, I will say. And so ramps, for example, to access the building and things like that. But that will be kind of a case-by-case basis. You will want to reach out to us at info@nucamp.co. And then when the workshop is online on Saturdays, it's also depending on the disability. You will want to be live with the instructor and the students. You will want to be able to code live with the instructor and the students. So it's really a case-by-case how we can actually help with that. And again, you will want to reach out to us at info@nucamp.co so we can actually see the level of support that we can offer there. Anything else, Karim, on that, you think?
No, again, I think, we love to work one-on-one on what the situation is and try to find the best option there, whether it's in person or online. So again, we encourage you to reach out to us so we can work with the person. Question from Sarah. I'm in a very competitive area. All of the junior positions seem to require a college degree. And Ludo, you might want to jump into this one. We talked a little bit about it. There are hundreds of thousands of junior level software development positions out there that are unfilled. And so I think it's really a matter of targeting the right companies, the right level, and not trying to compete on positions that are, clearly marked for people that have, a bachelor degree experience or a college experience, because for sure that will put you at a disadvantage. Whereas you could be competing elsewhere, I think, and be very successful there.
Yeah, no, totally. I mentioned earlier that traditional companies not software companies like Microsoft, but traditional, think Nordstrom, think Walmart, or actually think, a cement kind of company, or, hardware store. All those companies need software development skills in their ranks, and they will be looking for web developers, and they know they need to compete with the other guys that are potentially more attractive, I will say, to the graduates of a college degree or computer science that graduate. These are the companies that we will recommend that you target. They are going to be eager to invest in you. They're going to give you the same opportunity to grow and build experience. And the competition will be different there. So do that. Startup world as well. Typically, they will be looking for, not necessarily being able to afford a computer science degree person, and so wanting to actually trim down a little bit on the cost. And then finally, we see a ton of value of going freelance, especially the first year, I will say, either because you still have a job and you want to do it on the side, but after 22 weeks, the very first thing you want to do is create your reputation. You want to show your work, you want to showcase it, you want to show multiple projects. There's a great way to do that, which is to have small projects for multiple customers. Go to Upwork.com, do one for free at the beginning, for example, right? Start to build traction around yourself, your personal brand. And that's going to help you as well find a more long-term job, I would say, afterwards.
All right. Hey, we're going to have to pick up the pace, Ludo. We've got a lot of questions here, which is great. So let me take a stab at a few here. So do you have to do the intro fundamentals course to take the front end or full stack? I believe we covered this, but you do not. You need to just take the test. The link to the test is in our FAQ. This test will basically tell you if you're ready to jump into the advanced bootcamp, or whether you should take the intro bootcamp first to consolidate your sort of basic understanding.
And let me answer one real quick from Amir on YouTube. Can you start at the advanced level if you only have learned a little about JavaScript? The answer is no. You want to have a basic of JavaScript before starting at the advanced level.
So, a lot of questions around choosing campuses, and sometimes choosing instructors. So once again, as you register naturally in your own community, and but you will get paired potentially with other communities as the workshop is delivered online. What we do commit to, though, is that it'll never be more than 12 students in a class. And in your online class, you will be grouped with all the other students from your community. So we don't split students from a community, because we want them to have the opportunity to network together locally if they choose to do so.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a deadline on the early bird. Angel asked, I thought the deadline is June 6th. So just to clarify things, there are two deadlines. So next Monday is the deadline for the early bird rate for our advanced bootcamp. And then a week later is the early bird deadline for our intro bootcamp. So watch the schedule carefully. If you want to get into the advanced bootcamp, make sure not to miss this Monday's deadline.
I'm seeing a question about what type of laptop will I need. So we have actually a list of recommended laptops on our website in the FAQ. I will say any decent laptop will work up to React Native. So if you're planning to enroll in full stack or front end, and you're going to hit React Native at some point, that's when you're going to need a more powerful machine than the typical, I would say, Mac or PC. So again, check out our website for more specs details. If you're just thinking about joining the first 4 weeks, then any type of really Mac or PC laptop would work. No Chromebooks, though.
A quick answer and comment from YouTube saying that you didn't find us until recently, although we opened in 2017. And what are we doing to increase our advertising? Sorry for not being more visible up to recently. We're definitely trying to ramp up our advertising, but part of our model is, again, to be affordable. So we're being sort of measured in the way we spend with advertising. So, again, a call here to all of you to support us just through, liking us, subscribing to YouTube, sharing with your friends, and helping us be more visible.
Lisa is asking, if I miss the first week in person, can I do it virtually? The answer is yes, we can accommodate that in a few ways. But yeah, we'll figure it out. I think that will be a discussion one-on-one with your instructor at the time and what type of options you will have. I have a follow-up question from Mario on Facebook. Why no Chromebooks? Well, primarily because they're not powerful enough to take you through the whole bootcamp. And also there's a lack of support of editors, of coding editors. So really not the best machine to learn to code on.
So, question around what will happen when the Saturday classes go back to in person? Will they still be available online live? The answer is yes. You can stay on that format of live online if you want to, once we go back to in person. And we've done that in the past, even way before COVID-19. So that is an option to you. Also, a quick one here. This entire open house is recorded. It will be available on our YouTube channel if you've missed the beginning of the presentation. So it'll be available within a few hours or later today on our website, on our YouTube channel, sorry.
And on Facebook as well.
And on Facebook as well.
Yeah. I think so. I don't have much more on Facebook. I don't think I missed any here.
So question around instructors again, do they follow a cohort through their program, teach multiple courses basically, or focus on a single course, and then, students go through the program? We kind of have both. The majority of the situations are basically instructors focusing on teaching one or two classes and students going through those classes. So students typically will have multiple instructors. There are a few exceptions with instructors that have followed a cohort throughout the whole bootcamp. It's usually a great experience for the students anyway, because those tend to be outstanding instructors that are able to teach all classes. But if that's a problem, and we've had a few instances, that is something we can work with the student on.
I'll take Obi's question regarding age. That's actually a very sensitive topic, and I know some people are wondering about that. So can someone like myself, 50-year-old or older person, can really make it in the industry? And I'll say, it's really not about your age. It's going to be about your skill and your passion. And I will add to that it may actually be a reverse problem in a way. If you are 50 and above, and I've been a geek, I will say, your whole life. If you've been gaming, if you've been in computers, if you've been interested your whole life about computers and coding in a way, but never really made the step to get a formal education around it, the chances are you have the passion, you have the commitment, and you'll be successful. On the other hand, if you spend your whole life without really caring that much, without really showing interest or passion for this world of computers, coding, and all that, and you're just now wondering, okay, will that be for me? Well, there may be a sign there. And what I will say is I will encourage you to start with the 4 weeks bootcamp, because with that, you're actually going to answer a question that's very important for you is, do you actually want to do that at this point in time? Like if you've never really shown interest in the past, then maybe is that something for you? That's the question really. So either way, it's not really about age. It's about skills, passion, commitment, and really being able to invest yourself fully to become a great web developer.
That's a great point, Ludo. And I think we can sort of extend this to many of you who are just, asking yourselves, hey, is this for me? Is it the right time? Take the intro bootcamp. It actually has a lot of value in itself if you have no coding experience, because you will get exposed to what coding is about. You'll get a better understanding of what web technologies are. you'll probably be a little more comfortable engaging in any conversations around these topics with the people around you. So I would really encourage anyone that's just considering this or is a little curious to go through the Intro Bootcamp.
And Shannon is 41-year-old and loving it, loving full stack. So awesome. 48 here, so I'm closer to you, Obi. But yeah, I mean, not about age. Let's celebrate.
All right. Hey, we're just on the hour.
Yeah.
So, I think we've covered most of the questions, but if we haven't, we really encourage you to send us an email at info@nucamp.co. We'll be happy to answer back. We're really excited to be with you this morning. We appreciate the energy and the engagement. We definitely look forward to seeing many of you join one of our boot camps. Once again, don't miss the early bird deadline. Even if you register, and things change, you can postpone, no cost. So that's it's an easy decision there. And again, help us by calling us out on your preferred social network. And you all have a great rest of your week.
Great. Thank you very much. And Seth, I see your last question. Send us an email at info@nucamp.co. All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you.